are you doing today? Okay. I hope by the time you leave this appointment, you feel even just the littlest bit better. So as I understand it, we are doing a full body examination. Is that correct? Wonderful. Is there any particular reason why you wanted to do this exam? No problem. So first, I'd just like you to confirm your name and date of birth. Wonderful. And is that your preferred name? How do you like to be addressed? Wonderful. So let me have a little peek at your medical history. That looks good. So I think that we are going to begin with a scalp examination. From this point onwards, I will need to be touching you. Is that okay with you? I have your consent to do that. Wonderful. Thank you. So I am going to use my hands here. And we are going to look both at the skull and the skin, and we'll also take a peek at the hair a little bit. So I just like to take a little peek along the hairline. Good. And we can get into the back of the head here. And any areas of pain or tenderness that you're feeling. Okay, very good. Do let me know if you do feel anything like that. Okay, and let's take a peek at your hair. I'm just going to take some strands, and I'm feeling the texture, and I'm just going to test the strength of a few. Good. And have you had anything out of the ordinary with your hair? Change in texture, oil level, hair loss? Okay. Just going to test the strength here. Good. Good. Let me just smooth that down. There. Very good. And let's take a peek at your face here. We'll look at the skin, the symmetry, and just make sure there's nothing I need to hone in on. Look around the ears. Good, and the forehead here. Okay, the eyes, eyebrows, nose here, and going to feel a little bit into a couple of the big muscles of your face. We have the masseter muscle here. This is the chewing muscle. And we have the temporalis here, which in Latin it means the time muscle. So I am going to have you just clench the jaw, unclench, clench, unclench. Good. And to test the temporomandibular joint, if I could just have you open and close the jaw. If you could just open and close. Open and close. Any pain, tenderness, restriction in movement? And I didn't hear any clicking either. Does that ever occur? Very rarely. Okay. And the temporalis here. I could have you clench the jaw, unclench, clench, unclench. Good. Let's take a little peek at the sinuses. So I am going to be using some pressure on the sinuses as well as a little direct percussion. So just let me know if there's any pain or tenderness. We're going to come to the frontal sinuses, and I'm just going to press and release. Press, release. Press, release. Anything there? Press, release. Press, release. Press, and release. Anything with the ethmoid sinuses there? And the maxillary. Press, release, release, press, release, and anything there. Alright, I'm going to do some of our direct percussion now. So this might elicit a little bit more. Thank you. Okay, and how about right in here? And how about right in here? Anything there? No. Okay. So let's move to the lymph nodes now. We'll start at the back of the head with the occipital nodes and work our way through our upper body nodes. So, the occipital nodes here, right around the occipital bone, occipital ridge, and post-auricular behind the ears here. Pre-auricular in front of the ears. Submental, submandibular underneath the jaw here. And if we could do right in here, we have the superficial cervical, deep cervical chain, posterior cervical, did not feel any distension there. Everything seems to be just fine. So I'm going to take some notes. We've done quite a bit of examining here. It'll take me just a few moments. Very good. Now I'd like to have a little peek at your ears, if you don't mind. I'm just going to have a little look at the ears, and then we will look inside with the otoscope, right? Good. I'm going to start with this ear right here. And we're just going to look at the structure. Have you had any issues with ear pain, ear aches, itching, any sort of feeling of fullness, and no hearing loss, I presume? No. Very good. Okay, I'm just going to look behind the ear here. Just make sure the skin is clear. Okay. Good. And we'll take a peek at the other ear here. Good. So the actual structure looks good. The lobe here, the helix, the tympanic membrane. Good. Just take a little look behind the ear. Okay. Alright, good. So I'm going to grab the otoscope and slip on our speculum there. And I'm going to be pulling your ear up and back in order to straighten out the ear canal. And then I'm going to be gently pushing the otoscope into the ear. And I do brace myself, so even if you do move, it's not going to poke in any farther, right? Wonderful. So just make sure I got some light. And then pull up and back. And take a peek. I've got a good look in here. I don't have any obstruction that might impede the visual examination. And is there any pain currently? No? Okay, good. Want to make sure it's not painful at all. So I'm just going to adjust a little bit. There we go. And I'm not picking up anything out of the ordinary here. Looks like the ear is clear. No signs of redness or irritation. So I'm going to adjust the ear up and back. And pull that out. And then we're going to look at the other ear here. Just going to go up and back. This ear canal also looks clear. And I can see the tympanic membrane quite easily. We have the tip of the malleus right behind it. And your ears look pretty good, and I know you had mentioned that you haven't been having any issues with your hearing as of late. I do just want to do a very short test with that real quick, if you don't mind. Good. So, I have a few tuning forks here. We have a very low one. This is 128 hertz. And you may or may not be able to hear it. It's not a big deal if you can't. The other ones are easier to hear. Good, so that's coming in loud and clear on that side. Wonderful. Good. And let's move up a bit. So this is our 256 hertz. That one's pretty clear. Yeah, these lower tones are quite soothing. They feel really nice auditorily. Those higher pitched ones just keep going and going. Good. So everything came in clearly, right? Good. It wasn't a strain to hear any of those. Wonderful. So high sounds, low sounds, mid-tone, all good. let's take a peek at your eyes. So, I have quite a bright pen light here, and I'm going to take a peek just to make sure that your pupils respond to the light. Just get that one knocked out right off the bat. And then we'll do a few different tests. Just keep looking straight ahead. There you go. Good. Alright, so we are equal, round, and reactive to the light. Very good. I'm going to put up my hand between your eyes, and we're going to do the direct consensual response test. So I'm going to bring light in. We're going to check the direct response and the consensual response. Very good. So the eye should react to the light when you shine it directly into the eye. The other eye should react in the same way, even though you're shining it into the other eye. They should be synchronized, essentially. The direct response. Good. And consensual. And consensual. Very good. So I'm going to be taking your eyes on a bit of a wild goose chase. And if you need to have a moment, blink for a few times, and then I'm going to have you follow my finger here. We're going to go all over. So the rules here, I want you to use only your eyes without moving your head, and we're going to test the eye movement, right? So I'm just going to bring this around. We'll work in your cardinal directions of gaze. Good. And just do the best you can here. Follow my finger as best as you can. Good. There. Good. Just keep going. We're going to add a little bit of distance in here. Good. Just keep looking at the tip of my finger here. Right. Up here. Down here. Up here. Down here. There. Just keep following. Good. Okay, can you look at this finger? And how about this one? Right here? Right here. 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 And here. Very good. Okay, so now just keep focusing here. We're going to come in You could look at my flowers real quick. Good. And look at this finger. We're just going to bring this in and out. In and out. In and out. And if you could look at the curtain here, look at that for a moment, and right back here. There you go. Wonderful. So was there any sort of pain, discomfort, restriction when I was doing all of those different movements for you to track? Okay, very good. So that was all pretty easy. Good. And let's take a little look at the nose, mouth, and throat. So if I could have you just tip your head back, and we're going to have a little look inside of the nose here. So we're not trying to look all the way into your brain. Just primarily, we want to make sure the septum is midline, there's no perforation, and that the passages are clear. Good. And can you breathe just fine through each passage? Good. So it doesn't feel like anything is congested. And if I could have you open your mouth real quick. Good. Just looking at the tissues. I'm going to grab my tongue depressor here so that I can just have a little look at the tissues in the mouth. Good. I'm just going to move your tongue over and to the other side. Good. And can you lift your tongue to the roof of your mouth? Good. Okay. And can you stick out your tongue as far as it'll go? There, and that really flattens it so that I can see the throat. If you could say ah for me. Uvulus midline, and there we go. Good. And then the throat. Okay, so no signs of swelling, irritation, redness. The wall looks clear, no cobblestoning, and do you have your tonsils? Okay. Oh yeah, I don't see anything going on there. Good. Okay. And might need a moment to let your jaw relax, huh? Yeah, very good. So have you had any problems with smell or taste at all? Okay. And any issues with the throat? No. Okay. So I'm going to move to the neck. We're going to start by listening for any bruits in the carotid arteries. So these are audible heart murmurs. If I do hear one, I don't want to go pressing all around in there. So I'm just going to have you take a breath in and then hold it so that I'm not listening to the breathing in your throat, but I'm just focused on the blood flow. Okay. So, if I could have you just take a deep breath in and hold. Exhale. And deep breath in. Hold. And exhale. Good. Okay. This will be coming back in a moment. But for right now, I am going to be feeling the trachea a little bit. Want to make sure that's midline. And we're going to do a little palpation of the thyroid. So I'm just going to come in here. And you don't have any issues swallowing, do you? I know that kind of works with the throat question, but just want to make sure there's no dysphagia involved. Yeah, that's not a fun one. Okay, so trachea is midline, and then I'm going to be just palpating around the front of the neck, and I'm going to have you take a dry swallow. What that means is just as we're sitting here, just take a swallow so I can feel it for the thyroid here. So if you could just take a swallow here. Might be a touch difficult. There we go. Okay, very good. So let's bring the stethoscope back into the fold. And we are going to use it to listen to the heart and lungs. I'm going to start with the lungs. And I am just going to guide you when I need you to breathe so that I can hear how the lungs sound with a deeper focus. So if I could have you take a deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Doing really well. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in. Deep breath in and out. Last one. Deep breath in and out. So we'll take a listen to the heart, and you can breathe normally here. I'm going to start at the aortic area here. We'll listen, the valves opening and closing, the pulmonary area, pulmonary valve, and the tricuspid. I think tricuspid is probably my favorite of the areas. Just sounds cool. And the mitral. Mitral area sounds pretty cool too. But I don't know, the AO in aorta goes pretty hard. Okay. So I am going to keep the stethoscope for a moment while we listen to your abdomen. And I'm going to have you keep breathing normally. And I'm just going to bring the stethoscope around and listen before we get our fingers in there. Listening around the different organs. Listening to the health of the tract. And we can pop this away for a while. There. And I am going to get into the abdominal organs a smidge. So I'm going to do it with a one-handed approach, which is more of a firm pressure. And then we'll get two-handed, which is more of a deep pressure, right? So we'll start with one hand. And just feel around. And is any of this painful or uncomfortable at all? Okay, very good. Now for the deep pressure, this is not going to feel awesome, but doesn't last very long, and it is easier if you try to breathe through it. It's going to feel like you can't, but just trying to breathe through it gives you something to focus on and a bit of a goal to work on. Rather simple one, but one nonetheless, rather. How was that? Yeah, not awesome, but made it through just fine. Alright, so we are going to move to the extremities. We're going to start with the upper extremities, the lower, and then we'll get into the reflexes a bit. So if I could just see your hands, you could have your palms to the floor. I'm going to look at the nails, and I'm just going to press on them and check the capillary refill. Good. Okay, the other end here. So the skin looks good, and I'm just going to squeeze around the joints here, starting most distally and working to the proximal joint. Let me know if any of this is painful or tender. Just real quick little squeezes. Anything there? No. Good. And I'm going to squeeze the hands. Let me know if there's any pain or tenderness here. Anything? Good. If you could flip the hands over. Let's see. Our thenar and hypothenar muscles look to be in good shape. No palmar thickening. Everything feels warm, not clammy, it's dry. Okay. I'm going to have you do a few range of movement things for me. So if I can have you cock your wrist back here. Okay, so extension, flex them downwards, flexion, and if we could go in and out. Okay, and if we could rotate them inwards and outwards. You could splay the hands, make a tabletop, and bend just the first knuckles here, and fold the fingers down, clench your fist, open, clench, open. Okay, and any pain, tenderness, restriction in movement? No. Okay, so I am going to feel the pulses in both hands. We're going to go primarily for the radial here. And we already got your pulse rate. What I'm trying to note is our quality. Good on that side, the other side. And then we're looking for synchronicity. We're checking for what's known as a radial delay. And they're pretty synchronized, so that's good. I'm going to take a look at the arms, and there aren't any nodes on the backs of the arms by the elbows. Skin is warm and dry. And as I'm squeezing the arm here, no pain or tenderness? No. Okay, so if I could have you bring the arms up, so bend the elbows, okay, and extend them. Good. Flexion and extension. Flexion, extension. Very good. And can you bring the elbows in, but do it so that the forearms are perpendicular to the floor, or to your body rather, and parallel to the floor. So bring them all the way in and all the way out. All the way in, all the way out. Good. And can you shrug your shoulders? Good. Roll them back. Roll them forward. Bring your arms all the way up and all the way back. Okay, hands at your sides and bring them up and up all the way so that the backs of your hands touch. Okay, and how's all that? Pretty okay? All right, so let's go ahead and look at the legs. So, we often see some of our abnormalities in the shins, but I'm going to check on the thighs as well. Any pain or tenderness as I'm going over the leg? No? Okay. So let's check the toes for our capillary refill. Just squeezing and releasing. Good. And I'm just going to look at the soles of the feet and the top. Okay, and we're going to do a couple pulses here. So we have dorsalis pedis. And checking on both sides. And then we have the post-hip. Good. Nice and strong. Very good. Okay. And I'm not feeling any edema in the ankles, which is good. Do you often get swollen feet or swollen ankles? No? That's good. It's not a fun one. Dysphagia and edema, not fun. Okay, so let's do a little range of movement. So I'm going to have you just move your toes up and down. Good. And can I have you move your feet up and down? Good. And move in and out. In and out. Clicking. And can you roll them in? And roll them outwards. Good. And can you kick your legs out? Bring them in. Out. Bring them in. Good. Now if I could have you just lift your upper legs. There. So your hips are doing the work basically. Okay, and down. Up and down. And if you could bring your legs in and out, in and out. Good. I'm not going to make you rotate them around, all right? We're just going to get into checking your reflexes. I'm going to be using a queen square reflex hammer. We're just going to on some of your reflexes. We're going to start with the ankle jerk. If I could have your foot here so we get a bit of tension. And on the Achilles tendon, we just like that. Just a few taps. On the other foot. Good. The knee's pretty easy here. We're just going to... Good. Good. And then I'd like to do the triceps. You could just put your arm across your thigh here and let it relax. I'm going to come in behind here. We're just going to... Okay, good. And the other side, lay the arm across the thigh. Relax the arm. And for our biceps reflex, I'm going to be putting my thumb in the crook of your elbow and striking my thumb here. So just relax the arm. I'm going to put my fingers around the elbow and we're just going to... Good. And on the other side, relax the arm. Just going to... And there we go. That's all there is to it. So, what we need to do here is just note our extremities. Good, so that should about do it. Did you have any questions for me at all? Okay, so I'm going to sign off. And that will be it for our full body examination. I'd like to thank you so much for your cooperation and patience. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a whale of a day and a good rest of your night. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, it would greatly help me out if you clicked the like button and left a comment so YouTube's algorithm registers that it was a good video. If you want to see more of my work, consider subscribing to the channel. I create primarily medical, pseudoscience / alternative medicine, and personal attention ASMR roleplays. But I've done a little bit of everything from historical to sci-fi to fantasy. If you'd like to support the channel, I offer ad-free videos, early access on videos, and exclusive content on Patreon. Or I also have a Ko-Fi link for a one-time donation or a throne wish list for props and equipment. Thank you again, and I hope you have a whale of a day and a good rest of your night.